everyone, and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at another one of Cody Lee's videos, specifically the one on Red Dead Redemption where, once again, he tells an ungodly number of lies and speculates and proves that he's a misogynist, among other things. And since I really need to be putting the video games down for a little while due to burnout, I thought it would be fun if we took a look at Cody's insane shenanigans in this video, and it's only like 6 minutes long anyways, so let's just get into it.
Red Dead Redemption has released on Nintendo Switch. One of the most overrated games in my childhood is now finally available on Nintendo consoles. So now I'm finally able to come out and tell you all that this game is trash. It was always trash. You guys were dumb for liking it back in the day.
Of course you would say that we were dumb for liking Red Dead Redemption 1 back in the day, Cody. You know why? Because it doesn't have the big red Nintendo brand sticker on it. If it did, I promise you, you would have praised this game to high heaven and said we were dumb for not liking it.
When you guys were trying to tell me that oh man, you can tie up a woman and then leave her on the train tracks.
You see what I mean, folks? Cody is a misogynist, and that clip you just saw isn't his only example of misogyny either. He said that women shouldn't have the right to vote, and although I am loath to use this example, he said that the women in the Activision Blizzard situation were making everything in that little fiasco up. Also, Cody, why was that your first example why you don't like this game? It's like you're trying to make yourself hated, my guy. Oh, but wait until we get through the next clip or two.
And I was just like, why would I want to do that?
Well, because as I understand it, your mom took away your Super Nintendo when you were a kid and it caused you to hate all women, among other things.
And you tried pretending as if oh man, you just don't get it. You're not a real gamer. You're into Pokemon. You're into Nintendo. You're a child.
Cody, you are a child. Do you not watch your videos back before you upload them to YouTube?
I'm a real hardcore gamer. When Red Dead Redemption 1 comes to PC, I'm gonna play the hell out of that game. I went through this growing up, right? This was one of those times, the peak of anti-Nintendo sentiment in my personal life, right? I don't know if it still exists in schools today, but back then it was very evident that everybody hated Wii, everyone hated DS, everyone was about PC gaming, everyone was about those big Rockstar games, everyone was a big Mass Effect dick sucker. Everyone thought that Nintendo was trash at the time.
Okay, that clip right there is the reason why I wanted to make this video. So Cody says that he's experienced anti-Nintendo sentiment all throughout his life, right? We all heard that. Well, Cody, when I was in school, everyone was all over the Nintendo Wii it was hot shit. Has it ever occurred to you, Cody, that maybe, just maybe, the reason you experienced such strong anti-Nintendo sentiment back when you were in school is because that was all you talked about? Because if so, then we just found the problem, you idiot. I would love to call Cody a word, which shouldn't be used in polite company, but, well, you have to be nice on YouTube nowadays, and I don't want to lose my channel, so...
And it was so frustrating for me as a fan, having to interact with these people and their ignorant opinions. Oh, Metroid Prime 3 wasn't a good game. Zack and Wiki is the only game on Wii. The only good game on Wii. Real games don't come out on Nintendo hardware. The Wii is underpowered, and, there's nothing good on it at all. It was...
Cody, there hardly were any good games on Nintendo Wii, at least to me and all of my friends. Seriously, I only got my Wii for 3 games tops. Pokemon Battle Revolution, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which I had already beaten on the GameCube by the time I got the Wii version, or hell, even the Wii itself.
Obnoxious. Unbearably so. I had a very big issue with people talking negatively about video games, even back then. And when I finally got my hands on Red Dead Redemption 1 back in the day, when I finally got to play this game, I found myself, as I expected, reasonably disappointed. Right? The game is ugly. There's nothing in the open world. The story isn't interesting. The characters aren't fun. The gunplay is simplistic. The mission structure is boring. There's too many, long...
Sorry to interrupt him in the middle of his thing there, but he does realize that the exact same thing can be said about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, right? Everything he's complaining about that Red Dead Redemption does, at least in that last little clip, can be applied to Nintendo's new Zelda games, right? But he refuses to acknowledge that little point. because those new Zelda games were made and published by Nintendo.
It does that thing that I hate in games where, like, you're on the trail on a horse and, like, your party is following behind you and you have these conversations, like, giving all this exposition that isn't well written. People talk about, like, how Red Dead Redemption 2 is, like, super liberal. I played this game, and I think this is, like, the first game I ever played in my life where I had noticed, like, the liberal bias, right? Like, it's really noticeable if you're looking for it. Even in this game, like, ignore that stuff like people say about, like, oh, Red Dead Redemption 2, that one is woke. No, like, Red Dead Redemption 1 and Grand Theft Auto 4 are also woke. I would argue, like, San Andreas as well.
Excuse you, Harmon? Nah, man, none of those games you just mentioned were woke. You only say they are because they feature women and or black people in prominent roles. Remember, folks, Cody is a misogynist, but if he's calling Grand Theft Auto San Andreas woke, then shock of all shocks, he has clearly not played it, or maybe he has, and he's only calling it woke because that game features a predominantly black cast. Also, the black characters in that game dropped and to my black audience, I sincerely apologize, but they dropped the N-word like crazy in that game. Not as much as the Boondocks did. Oh, don't even get me started on those stink meaner episodes, but my god, Cody clearly thinks that anything that doesn't cater to what he wants in the games is woke. This is Cody basically admitting that he's a narcissist, folks, but with him calling San Andreas woke, then he's also admitting that to being a racist. Dude, these games came out at a time before SJWs had ruined the term woke. Just let that sink in, folks.
Like, are also woke, right? Like, this is not a new thing, right? It's not new. So, like, right from the get-go, I noticed these things. I noticed this game is just not all that well put together. It's not all that much fun to play. Like, it's not all that, like, compelling. It's not all that interesting. It's just plain boring.
Well, Cody, I could say the exact same thing about Nintendo games now, couldn't I?
Right? Like, I much prefer, like, Bully or GTA San Andreas. Like, Rockstar got worse. Like, noticeably worse after San Andreas, right? There was no real recovery after San Andreas. And even now, I feel like nobody really wants to admit it. Like, games like Manhunt have fallen off the radar. Like, they're not producing stuff like LA Noire anymore. Like, they're not doing anything other than, like, ooh, get excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, they have nothing else other than Grand Theft Auto.
Cody, you are now using the slippery slope fallacy, which means you think that since they aren't making games that cater to you, that they're going to wind up going under, which is another type of logical fallacy that you'll often see Cody using in all of his videos. This is but 2 of them. Anyways, another YouTuber by the name of Benjamin Long covered all of this in his video on Cody, so I'll direct you to his video in the description. Moving on.
Right? Red Dead Redemption 2, like, just kind of came out and, like, you know, sold a bunch because of its brand name, because so many people are just fanatical about Rockstar and, like, the cowboys. Like, they're gay cowboys, but...
Ah, yes, Cody's homophobia returns to the forefront yet again. Cody, it's the year 2023, dude. No one under the age of 12 uses the word gay as an insult anymore, bro. Get with the times. Also, you talk about gay cowboys that Rockstar fans fawn over and are fanatical about. I could say the same thing about you, buddy. I could say the exact same thing about you being fanatical over Nintendo and their gay plumber, the gay elven swordsman, your gay monsters that you keep contained in balls at your waist. Also, apologies to my LGBT audience. I am not trying to offend you, and I don't mean to offend you. I'm just trying to show Cody exactly what he sounds like.
Like, the game itself is not that good. Like, there's nothing all that well constructed about the mission designs. Like, I remember, like, playing this game and, like, you know, doing the shepherding stuff and realizing that, like, you know, Twilight Princess did this first and did it better, right? You know, I noticed this. Like, you know, Twilight Princess has better combat in general. It has a better plot. It has, like, better visuals. It has, like, you know, more things you can do in the game. Like, you know, 3 years earlier, right?
I'll side with Cody on Twilight Princess having better combat, but to say that the graphics, and especially the storytelling of Twilight Princess, are better than Red Dead Redemption's is a subjective opinion. Cody, Twilight Princess is a fantasy game that has an elven swordsman save an elven princess from the same elven warlock that has been trying and failing to conquer Hyrule so many times and failed so many times that it just isn't funny anymore. Red Dead Redemption and its sequel are basically spaghetti westerns in video game form. If you don't like the Red Dead games, Cody, then that's fine, but don't act like your opinion is better than others, as that is a sign of narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD.
Like, Twilight Princess just destroyed Red Dead Redemption in every conceivable way. And nobody wanted to admit it. Like, nobody wanted to admit that, like, Rockstar, that Bethesda, that BioWare, they were all way behind on what Nintendo was doing around that same point. And now that, like, we're at 2023 and we're seeing that, like, Tears of the Kingdom, like, outperform, like, being such a huge deal, like, it's becoming more and more obvious that, like, games like Red Dead Redemption will not be the big juggernauts that they used to be. They are going to fall by the wayside for one reason or another. And I cannot wait for that to happen, because the original Red Dead Redemption is, like, just embarrassing to look back on. It's just one of those games that I never cared for, that I never cared about, that I didn't even finish. I think I got, like, to the third act and I just kind of just stopped. It was just so dull. It was just so uninspired. It was just so boring. And, like, now that it's on Switch, no longer can you try to tell me that, like, it's only because the game isn't available on a Nintendo console. Like, this game is trash. Don't want to play it again, have no interest in playing it again, and I am going to stick with the far superior Zelda games on Nintendo Switch.
Cody, Twilight Princess and Red Dead Redemption are two different styles of game. How can they compete with each other? Also, Twilight Princess was linear, Red Dead Redemption was open world. And what Bethesda and Rockstar were doing, they have been doing for years before Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom came out. And you can't even play Twilight Princess on the Switch, you clown. Also, you say that Twilight Princess did everything better than Red Dead Redemption, but since you gave no examples, I call BS on it, except for the bit about the combat. I'll give you that one, I'll side with you on that one. But that's the video, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good one.